Lefty.
That serve hit the spot.
15.
Mentioned the fact she beat Kimberly Birrell in the first round, then beat Varvara Gracheva 4 in the third. Was in round 2.
15.
Start here for Eva Lys, and you can see already what her big strength is. Likes to defend the baseline, is very close up on it. While we see the team here once more. When she's able to change direction to the down the line, she's so dangerous.
Fault!
Promising. So what does Torben Belz do exactly, like Stober at the back there? So Torben looks after all the German females or oversees their program, or how does that work?
Yeah, exactly. Basically that. So he is in close contact with the girls, obviously, but also with their coaches. For example, here, the dad, Eva Lys's dad, who couldn't travel to Australia. When he's not here, Torben Belz is doing a bit more. When a player like Laura Siegemund, for example, has her full team with her, Torben is more on the periphery, but always there to support and advise. And honestly, since he's been there, and he's only been there for a month or so, it's going really well. Laura Siegemund beating a top 5 player in Zhang Qinwen. Eva Lys here in the third round, and a great start to this match. And you can see just Cristian's ground strokes landing a bit short, as almost as if she has a handbrake on still, and that's the most dangerous thing you can do against Eva. When she can dictate play from inside the baseline, that's when she's at her best. Needs a bit more depth here.
Had a good number of wins last year, did the Romanian. Was able to really consolidate her position inside the top 100. Sun a bit of a factor from that end, maybe. It looked as though she was looking up there.
Yeah, it's a tough time around midday.
20.
And it was a bit more decisive, this forehand by Cristian, to get the short ball.
Had some good wins last year, beat the likes of Krejcikova, Caroline Garcia. And they're recording 27 tour level wins. That's good going.
40, 30.
You can see get some nice pop on that first serve. Nearly takes out Eva Lys. She can only smile about it. That's good to see. No hard feelings.
Cain, Cristian.
Some early trouble, but was able to push through it nicely. What was she like to play doubles with? Pretty feisty, you were telling me.
Very feisty. I loved it, honestly. She was so competitive. And, you know, in doubles, you have these moments when you get hit at, or, you know, a ball is directed in your direction. And some players take it as an affront. Well played. And you can just see Cristian early on in the rally targeting the forehand side of Eva Lys. And that's not because Eva has such a bad forehand, but because that backhand of hers is so strong. You will want to stay away from it if possible. But just to finish on that story, Cristian never took it as a means of complaining when somebody hit at her, but she took it as full-on motivation, and I loved playing with her. She just played better when she felt like somebody was targeting her, and I think that's a really good trait to have as a tennis player. You have to be resilient and tough as nails.
Yep.
And this young woman is, as are both.
Serve getting a little bit exposed in this game. It was a rather tentative first delivery. And it came back with plenty on it.
Oh. 15, 40.
Could only have caught a fraction of the line.
Yeah, Eva is not a powerful server. She goes for the smarts and the placement. You will see her go into the body often. I think you have to take a step to the right a bit because of the slice. You can see her grip is more held for a slice serve, so it will always move into that side slightly, even when she goes for the tee.
Cain, Cristian.
Just over pressing. And I suspect that won't be the only break of the day.
Cristian leads.
The first one is recorded here as the Romanian gets herself ahead. The last meeting was actually at in a 125 event over in Bari on the clay. 3 in the third, that was. 3 hours and 11 minutes, goodness me.
They had some battles. Every single, yes, Eva won all 3, but every single match of theirs was a million hours long.
Yeah. Dubai, almost a year ago exactly. Eva winning 2 in the third there, 2 hours and 21, and then a year prior in Cluj, of course, on Romanian soil. Also winning that one. And of course, what's interesting is each of the wins she came from a set down. So this could be quite the journey.
So maybe you think she's planning on going a set down here again, just for good measure.
That's right. Panning over, we're on the left actually. 1573 is on the right there. That's Margaret Court. That is where we are, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, you're right.
Out.
Good little showcase into just how good an athlete she is there, wasn't it? Defended brilliantly.
Yeah, you can tell that she's playing really well, had a good start here. Eva not playing badly at all, but Cristian just getting to every single ball, and when she has a short one, accelerating, making things hard for Lys right now. And this is the one area I think Eva Lys still has room to improve, is she does not like hitting drive volleys at all. Prefers to let them drop, and then against these good athletes that all these women are in the top, she has to play over and over again, restart the rally from the get-go.
Yeah, on a day like today, this court's going to be pretty lively, isn't it? Those balls coming in from high are going to be jumping a little bit more, as was the case. It's much hotter today, so that will impact on-court conditions. Got through that forehand, much better. It's a little bit of a funky take back, isn't it, on the forehand side, Pepco. It's a little more going on there. Obviously the back end is a much simpler strike.
And that's why we have Cristian targeting that wing a bit more. But you can see here when Eva has a bit of time on that forehand wing, how flat and slippery it goes through the court. Really nice flat shot on these hard courts.
Feet got a bit planted there. Caused some problems.
Cristian leads 3 games to 1.
Pekka mentioned the injury that she had in 2022, was out for virtually the whole season, really. When you look at that year, missed pretty much from February all the way through to September. To rescue things, the ranking actually did pretty well when you look at it when she came back, because it didn't take long to get back in the top 100. Obviously had that protected ranking to play with, but you've still got to win the matches, haven't you? When you do come back.
Oh, just missed. That is her best shot, but smart play by Cristian with that changeup, Nick. You mentioned the livelier conditions today. It is the first hot day in Melbourne in a while. That affects the conditions, and those heavy topspin balls just get a bit more bounce on it.
Last 30.
Only 137 Ks, but as Pepco was informing us, the accuracy can be pretty good. It needs to be when it's only that pace, to be fair, doesn't it?
Yeah. And here we have again Tom and the mom, and I was just informed that the dad was actually there for qualies, but had to head back.
What a beauty that was.
But again there, right, the one shot, she should have taken it in the air and the rally would have been over already. This way she requires 19 shots. This one right here lets it drop. It gets a bit awkward. And then she needs to hit this fantastic backhand down the line. So nice and stable.
Done the hard work. One of her best forehands of the opening set, but the more reliable side, not there for her this time around. Interesting, because we talked on the way down here and there was always a possibility that this match may not be the prettiest, wasn't there? Because of what's at stake.
Too much at stake, yeah. It's just for both players such a huge opportunity. As the third round of the Australian Open, they could have just as well played Iga Swiatek, who just won 1-0. But here they are presented with a big opportunity. And it's so important to force yourself to try and win this match rather then hoping that the other one will give it away, that the other one will lose it. And these are inexperienced players. They are not 28 and have been around for a while, played 30 Grand Slam main draws. These are inexperienced players, so this is a very normal thing to go through.
Get the elevation on the second lob.
Advantage, Cristian.
Do you remember the first time you made the third round of a major, Pekka? When was it? Where was it?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Tell you what, I'll look it up for you.
Yeah, look it up for me. I remember the first one I played a Grand Slam. I qualified, won my first round, and was up 7-0 against Marion Bartoli, and then still ended up losing. So that did not go well.
I'll tell you, it was 2010. You actually, according to Tennis Abstract, didn't even play. You gave Peng Shui a walkover at the US Open, is that right?
Oh, she gave me a walkover, yes.
Sorry, yes, sorry, other way around. I apologise.
Yes. That's true, yeah.
So there you go, 2010, 15 years ago.
She had injured her knee, I remember this, yeah.
Let's.
And the second time you made the third round, you only played one game against Venus Williams. So what were you doing to the opposition?
Yeah, it was super scary.
That was here.
Fault.
And the sun is, we mentioned it earlier, Nick, on that end where Eva Lys is right now between 12:30 and 1:30, sometimes even up to 2 p.m. depending on where your ball toss is, can be very tricky to deal with. It is so bright here in Australia. You can lose the ball for a split second there.
Forehand breaking down frustratingly again for the German. And it's been rather error-strewn so far. As Jaqueline Cristian holds on to a good lead, 4-1. Yeah, Eva Lys actually getting in because Anna Kalinskaya was the player that withdrew. There were 3 lucky losers that got in the women's field. Of course, they changed the rules a few years ago, didn't they, at the majors, that players are on site, they get half the prize money. I believe that's still the case, isn't it? So Kalinskaya would have taken half the first round prize money if she was here. That rule was really to incentivise injured players not to play effectively rather than to go out there and collect a paycheck, even when you're not fit, which obviously is not ideal.
Again, the sun, 120 k's an hour only on this first serve. Just something to keep in the back of everyone's mind here. She's frustrated. Eva Lys, just a bit of a rush in her baseline game right now. Overplaying these few shots.
Is that purely the occasion?
I think so. I think it will. I think she will shake it off by the time the second set rolls around. Hopefully she will shake it off in time to still be able to make a good run for this.
Yeah, that's 14 unforced at the moment. That's much better. What do you do in this scenario? Do you just go bigger targets for her, or do you... It's easy from here. It's always easy from here. We know
so
that.
Yeah, I know. And I never missed a shot from the couch.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much going on, I'm sure, in her mind.
Well, in the first 3 ground strokes I really liked from Eva, and she's just showing to her team that every ball is going out just by a little bit, and that's true. And her favorite shots are the down the lines, but in these occasions when you're feeling the nerves, when your feet are a bit planted, go through the center of the court, go for the cross courts, wait for the right one before you pull the trigger. That's much better. Well done, found the angle.
14-30.
Yeah, good use of the left arm. She gets a nice wrap round from that top hand, doesn't she, off the backhand? Good control with it. That did dip in time.
You can just see a bit more decisiveness on those 2 backhands. Going through the court more. And that's so counterintuitive. When you feel nervous, you want to hold, you want to guide rather than hit through the ball. But actually, when you hit through the ball, that's what makes it more secure. Just need to switch that flip in your head.
Advantage, please.
Emotions running high at both ends. Jaqueline Cristian giving her team a little bit of heat. Interesting second serve, because she actually hits it mostly with slice, doesn't she? I was just looking at the patterns. She's gone T on this side and wide on the second serve every time, which... And how the German won it, only she must know. Somehow defended the net when it looked impossible.
Cristian leads 4 games to 2.
And these are exactly the points that can switch a momentum just like that. Good read at the net by Lys. Well done.
Lovely reaction. What sort of person is she, Pekka? We talked about her game. Who is she as a character, Eva?
She's really fantastic. She's so fun-loving, very creative. If you go to her social media, you will see interested in art and photography, fashion. Very kind person as well. Will always try to make everyone around her feel included. Has 2 sisters. She's the middle child, so a peacemaker, as you have to be as a middle child, Nick.
Yep. Don't ask me. I'm an only child, so I don't know what I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I have siblings, so no, just all around great girl. I think that's why so many root for her, particularly with that autoimmune disease background.
15.
A bit freer since that crazy point, and you can just feel the tension on the other side rising. Just seems to have switched sides. The tension that was in Eva Lys's footwork has seemed to transferred itself over to Cristian's.
That's a secure game as well. She has a little bit more spring in her step. It's after half an hour here. The Romanian is still a break to the good.
Time.
Huge prize at stake for both, but probably more so for Eva. You would suggest that you've got the ranking scenarios for her. We mentioned the fact she's not been a top 100 player. If we take a look at the live rankings, if she wins today, she'll be around 89. Obviously, that depends on other results, but just today alone, she's looking at a jump of around 20 spots if she can win here. And that's going to open some doors, isn't it, going forwards?
It's become a bit, I understand her thinking she wants to get into the weaker side of Eva Lys's into the forehand, but it's become a bit too predictable, and Eva Lys's forehand is not bad. It's just a tiny bit weaker compared to her incredible backhand. And there again into the forehand, and Lys is already waiting for that one. Needs to change up her patterns a bit, Cristian here.
Yeah, she's rolling right now. 6 points in a row for the German.
And this one right here drops a bit short, and that's when Lys can go down the line. Such great accuracy on her down the lines, and then she opens the entire court for more possibilities.
Out. 15-30.
Got away with a couple of forehands there, but not the last one. That's a slightly disconsolate look.
15-14.
Yeah, I like her thinking there. She's trying to get a bit of rotation on her forehand side, trying to get out of the striking zone of Eva Lys, who's feeling her ground strokes now, really dictating play, but just didn't move her feet into the correct position. Cristian. So a bit of a miss hit there on the forehand.
Length. First.
We have it 181 k's an hour. It hasn't gotten up that high because there is, it feels like she has a handbrake in her arm, right? Like
Yep.
she's not fully hitting the ball. Just a bit of tension.
Yeah, interesting on this side, when you look at the serve pattern so far, 100% of serves on the ad side on the first have gone tee. Not hit a single one out wide so far.
Oh, that would have been another one down the tee.
Telling herself she should have chipped it, isn't she? Because she actually got hold of the return beautifully. Made one final on the WTA Tour as this lady a few years ago now. It was in Linz in 2021.
And she's found that serve on the deuce side there.
Advantage, Cristian.
Will she go for the wide one? Ever.
Yes. Such a Sturdy shot, isn't it? Doesn't look like you're going to miss that very often.
Choose.
Reliable.
Yeah, it's so technically sound, and the moment anything drops short, you just cannot give her anything short. You can just see her backing up there, and then she sees a short one and right away moves her body weight in it. Technical perfection there.
Chasing and some good defense when needed, able to keep the ball deep under pressure there.
Advantage, Cristian.
Yeah, got lucky there, Cristian. Again, just a bit too short in the court, and then freed herself with that incredible forehand slice. You can just see why this bit has been an up and down. The moment Cristian gets a bit tight, she just plays too short. Eva Lys all over it. And when she hits the ball free, can push Lys behind the baseline and makes the points. I think we're in for a long one here, Nick.
Yes, feels that way, doesn't it? Pretty even in the baseline points won. In fact, 17 to 19 so far, so nothing to separate them in that regard. Dug in. And gets another hold to take her ever closer to the opening set.
Seats quickly, please, behind the players. Thank you.
Fans filing in. Of course, they're allowed to now. The even games here at the Australian Open.
Please, quickly, players are ready to play. Thank you.
Too many seats to be had, though. You can just see the Ukrainian flag on her cap. Visor. Was actually born in the Ukraine, was Eva. Showing some support for her place of her native birth.
Last seat.
I believe she moved to Germany as a youngster, didn't she? Was she 2, I think?
2 years old, exactly. That is nicely done by Cristian. You can just sense the power she possesses when she swings freely. Just barely handleable. Gets the applause from the other side.
Fifty, 30.
Get the connection on that one. It wasn't the paciest. Look at her average first serve speed as Petko was saying it's not going to be breaking any records, but a rare cheap point. Averaging 145 Ks off that first serve, so only in and around the 85 to 90 mile an hour mark.
Out. 40-30.
Torben Beltz, of course, who was with Angie Kerber for so many years, and she was at the peak of her powers.
Tschüss.
She's
Advantage, please.
Showing us a bit of frustration in there. This has been a bit of a cheap run in terms of returns. It can be easy to overplay though, can't it, Petko, on a serve that's not got a lot on it. You can force it a bit sometimes. Doesn't mind that change of direction on the backhand. Smooth as silk that was, and she is still in this opening set.
Cristian leads
Trailing by
5 games to 4. Time. Last 15.
Shot's beginning to work well. She's relaxing into this.
13.
Well, and she needs to take that backhand down the line out for a nice drink, because it's been her money shot for her entire career, but particularly today, this has kept her in this first set. Beautiful technique, and gets a little opening here to find her way back in.
Bit of her own medicine with that shot.
15-14.
That was a bit better, a bit braver. Eva Lys had not a great start, and it feels like Cristian is still waiting for those unforced errors that were happening at the beginning of the match, but Eva hasn't been giving her so many lately, so she needs to be a bit more aggressive here.
Good 1-2 combination.
30-14.
Still has been absolutely no variety though with that first serve placement on this side, so if you're playing the odds for the German, going to be looking for the forehand here. Not the first time she's got out of trouble with that shot.
Advantage, Cristian.
Not easy with that grip, is it, as well, when she gets the ball with that slice petko. This is biting.
Yeah, and Eva really plays off of timing a lot rather than with the wrist acceleration. So that slice shot on these slippery courts here at the Australian Open is tough for anybody to handle, especially for somebody without that wrist action.
Points in a row. Eva Lys less than impressed. She's not able to convert on her opportunities there. There was a lot going. But if you want to try and accentuate the positives, as we said, in all 3 previous meetings, she's been a set down and went on to win. So,
and tennis players are a superstitious bunch, so maybe she's planned it like this all the way.
Will Jaqueline Cristian be aware of that? Is that in her mind as well?
That's a good question. I don't think so. Do you think so? Maybe.
I don't know. You tell me.
I think I would have been. But having been around tennis players for now nearly 20 years, I've noticed one thing. There are only 2 types of players. The one that remember the 15 all point of 3 all from 17 years ago, and the others who 5 minutes after the match don't know they have played a match.
Okay.
There's nothing in between.
Very interesting. And you were presumably the former. Yes,
I
you knew
remembered
everything.
everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
But one would imagine it's better to be the latter, or
And
not.
Better.
Better.
I think much
Yes.
better.
Yes.
Yeah, much better.
And is that a personality thing, Petko? Is that something you just born that way? I mean, can you? Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Can
how
you
do
learn it?
Yeah.
I think it's really like, I think some players just have the ability, and I think the best ones are part of it. Although Novak remembers everything, for example,
Yeah.
to really stay in the moment. I think that's a talent. I do think you can learn it to a certain extent, but it is a talent if you have that capability to remain at exactly the moment you are in time.
Yeah. Yeah, psychology of sport is fascinating. I know it's a subject that you love. I've actually just finished reading Sir Chris Hoy's book. I don't know if you know Sir Chris Hoy, one of the most famous cyclists ever in Great Britain. He won multiple gold medals. And he talks about Steve Peters a lot, someone who's a very famous sports psychologist back in my homeland. He's worked across multiple sports as Steve Peters. And he said when he very first started working with Steve, and Steve is extremely respected, Steve talked about a parachute effect. And he said, you need as an athlete to put your parachute on and look up from above and realize, try to get in your head how small the situation you're in actually is.
Interesting.
And he talks about, again, trying to have some perspective. Ultimately, he said, you're riding a bike around a track. That's all you're doing. There's no impact on anybody else. Obviously, that's easier said than done. But it's one of the big things Steve was so keen to get into his mind was that it's not that important. And of course it is to the athlete. And we always talk about it, don't we? But in many ways, the ultimate is to play without consequence. How can you play a sport without consequence in a sport that has so much riding on it? I love sports psychology.
Yeah,
That's fascinating.
no, me too. And you saw that, I think, case in time perfectly with the teenagers here who'd be top 10 players on the men's side. Jakub Mensik, Joao Fonseca, who played this incredible match. They played better in the big moments. And then they lost in the next match just because all of a sudden the pressure was on them.
Yes.
The world was looking at them, and it changed the entire thing. It hasn't changed that doesn't change your tennis in a day,
Yes.
but it does change your psychology.
Did you work with a sports psychologist or not?
At times, yes.
Beneficial to you or not really?
No, I would say definitely. You definitely learn skills that are important. And you could just see Cristian here complaining about her ball flying. We mentioned it at the top of this match. It is the first hot day in a very long time here in Melbourne, and the ball is a lot livelier. That backhand angle really opened up so many opportunities for her. Stayed nice and stable on that left leg. Cristian did. Let's take a look here. Well done.
There kind of lies the problem with the pattern of the serve, because it's going in the same place. So actually just waiting for it now. It was a good return.
Oh, yes. Very decisive. Taken early. The team loves it. Just catches it there before it jumps above her shoulder. Take a look here. Perfect timing.
It's the one that jumps a bit more, isn't it? There's a slight change of direction, but a bit more kick. Just couldn't quite get over the top of it.
Advantage, Cristian.
Much better job of getting out to that ball, didn't she?
Yeah, for Eva, it's really a matter of whether she catches the ball on time, because Cristian does do quite a good job with mixing in those heavy spin balls every now and then, whether that be on serve or on her forehand side. And whenever Eva catches it right before it jumps above her shoulder, she does really well. It's just when she doesn't get it quite on time.
Advantage, Lys.
Good point. Jaqueline Cristian was able to wrestle control of it halfway through.
Choose.
It was a nasty one, wasn't it? Winner of this match, incidentally, will take on Iga Swiatek, who dropped only one game today in her win over Emma Raducanu. Ominous stuff.
Only 2 games in the match prior. Looking very good. And after this point, I will give you a crazy stat about Iga's 6-0
Okay,
sets.
please do.
Another break point for the German, and they will play the winner of this match. Will play Iga Swiatek, who has the 3rd most 6-0 sets won in the history of Grand Slams, only behind Margaret Court and Chrissy Evert.
That is staggering, isn't it?
That's insane, no?
In terms of total number, Petko,
Yeah.
total number of 6
At Grand Slams, yeah.
And she's got about another 10 years to play as well, Iga.
And considering the depth of tennis today.
Well, a return somehow made it over, and Jaqueline Cristian has blinked off the short ball here.
And the way you can see that both players are a bit under tension here is both of them seem to not be quite recognizing the short balls, and that's not the eye, that's more the footwork. When you have tension, the little adjustment steps are tougher. It was a bit better, so you see the short ball, but your legs seem to be made out of stone, and you just can't quite seem to get yourself started. And you see right away, with the rage of having lost that service game, much better movement towards the short balls.
Well played from a fairly deep position as well.
That's 30.
Both players, in fairness, have probably played their best tennis from behind in this match, haven't they, so far? Which, as you say, speaks to a certain amount of relaxation when they are behind. They just feel like they're freed up a bit more, if that makes any sense.
Thirty. Right. First. Length
of the rallies you feel is just increasing slightly in this set. Almost actually at 6 in average rally length in the second set. A loose mistake though from the German.
another lengthy rally, and this one just
14.
moves into the body of Cristian here. Did not make the right footwork adjustment.
On that two-hander. This would be a big game to get through, to consolidate the break, get herself a sizable lead in the second. For the lucky loser, not actually been a lucky loser in the ladies' draw that's made the fourth round here since this event moved to Melbourne Park, so in the late 80s.
Cristian could get a lot closer to the line on the first serve. We've been talking about the accuracy of Lys's first serve, but she does lack speed, and Cristian returns her as if she had a big serve. She's almost 2 meters behind the baseline. She moves forward slightly, but I do think it drops on her.
It's losing pace, isn't it, as it hits her racket?
And it makes it so much harder, and then it turns out to be a really difficult serve to return for her.
Another break. And a roar of approval from the Romanian.
Leads 2-1.
He's trailing 2-1, having taken the first. Back on serve in this second set. Both players in the third round of a major in singles for the first time, so understandably this match has been a little edgy. Certainly with Torben Belts in the corner, when she looks up, she's got someone who's got a lot of experience there. Torben obviously has been in the coaching corner for many majors with a lot of success, yes, with different players, but he's comes with a lot of a big CV, if that's the right word. What sort of character is Torben? What sort of information will he be passing down, do you think? Is he...
So he's a very, very good strategist. He always gives, whenever I had tactical questions, I would go to him. He has a notebook with notes on every single player on the WTA Tour. So he's great when it comes to tactical matters. Oh, that's nicely done. And when it comes to the on-court work, he's actually quite Eastern European, if that makes sense. A lot of cross courts, a lot of, or a mix of Eastern European and Spanish school, a lot of movements, you know, 2 cross court, 1 down the line, these type of exercises.
Yeah.
It's quite hard on court. I would have loved to work with him. I was obviously coaching Angie for the longest time, but it was exactly right up my alley, the way he works.
Yeah.
Just a very good, experienced coach overall. And he's just easy to be around. And for whoever's been in tennis knows that that's half the price you pay your coach for. It's easy to be around for the 30 weeks you're traveling together 24/7. Just so good, that shot. And Cristian, yeah, he's pointing at her. That's exactly her weapon, that backhand down the line. And Cristian, if she goes into those cross-court rallies, she needs to be very careful with her depth. She either needs to find an angle, as she has before, to prevent Eva Lys to be able to pull that trigger on the down the line, or she needs to have enough depth to keep the margin small for Lys in that regard. But just the neutral cross-court is not going to cut it today.
Lights. Second. Lights. Second serve. Fifteen, 40. Thirty, 40. Lys, 3 games to 1.
Stuart Duguid in the back there, as Petco's just reminded me. Of course, works for Evolve now. There we are. There's the Nick who works with Evolve as well. Excuse me, Daniel Horsfield there. He's Nick Kyrgios's agent, actually. Of course, Eva having just signed with Evolve, as you were telling me, Pekka. Drop shot wasn't really good enough, was it?
And you can just sense the tension in Eva Lys's muscles melting away. She's moving freer, she's hitting the ball better. It was already in the books at the end of that first set that she almost managed to turn around. Now in full control.
Thank you.
Making a wait here is the Romanian. So much space, just again the footwork letting her down. She's lost her way here as Cristian. It is, and as has been par for the course with these two, it looks as though we're heading into a decider. The ever-expanding Melbourne Park, next to the Yara, of course, out there. It is, again, a day where fans have come in their numbers. Middle Saturday, of course, they're calling it Super Saturday here. Certainly going to be a busy weekend as we hit the second week here of the opening major of the season.
21.
What is the sort of structure in Germany, Petco, now? Is there a sort of national tennis centre? Is there a base? What are the federation looking to do with their younger players right now back home?
Well, they have a few bases, exactly as you said, one in Munich, one in Stuttgart, one in Hanover, where players can go to and use the facilities, use some of the coaches. Eva is also part of the Porsche talent team, which is a team that gets some funding to cover expenses. Tennis is a very expensive sport to play, especially when you're about to make it. Tennis players covering the expenses by themselves.
And how many players do they support, for example, Porsche? Is there a certain group that is selected every year? Is it
Yes.
ongoing, or how does that work?
Yeah, and it's, I think, for 3 or 4 years, and I would say right now it's 5 to 6 players.
Female or?
That's only female, yeah. You should have given me a heads up about the question. I would have done my research.
That's okay. We like off the cuff.
Cain, Cristian.
Eva's certainly one of those.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Lys leads 4 games to 2.
But for both of these players, for Eva and for Jaqueline, so important these Grand Slam prize money checks, because you don't use, it's not like you put it in your bank and you can buy a nice pair of nice shoes and maybe a bag that you see. It's more about having the money to invest in a coach, in a physiotherapist,
Yes.
into the next year, into your travel expenses, all that kind. It gives you a peace of mind and you can focus on whatever you need to do. Not everyone is Novak Djokovic, who comes with a recovery truck.
Yeah.
To every tournament. He always had that, and this is what I will say for him. He always had that foresight. When he was 17, 18, 19, he would always take every single penny and invest in himself and his body. And that's why he is where he is today.
Interesting, isn't it, on the forehand side, because you can just see sometimes, because there's a little bit more of a swing, she just gets a bit rushed sometimes, doesn't she? There's just a bit more going on there to produce the shot. And as you say, there's she's significantly resolved around the feel of the forehand.
Running forehand on the stretch, 17 shot ready. Cristian missed out on the opportunity, had a short one. I don't know why she didn't pull the trigger. Just put it back into place and then pace the prize.
Cain, 15.
10th winner of that forehand side. A pretty even split, actually. Look at the numbers so far. 10 off the forehand, 11 off the backhand. And that is a quick conclusion to that game. And Eva Lys is threatening to take us the distance here on court 3. In a match that has a lot riding on it, 5-2.
Time.
Third round action in Melbourne, and there's a section of the draw that's opened up due to a number of reasons, but of course the lucky loser spot being taken by Eva Lys earlier on, and a couple of upsets in this section as well. Azarenka went out, didn't she, as well early, Petko? That was one of the seeds. As you say, there was another seed, of course, as we mentioned, in Kalinskaya. Yeah, she pulled out, so that opened its little part of the draw up.
15. Light. First.
And she's just getting better and better, Eva Lys. You can just see her finding the calm in her footwork and how she positions herself. There's another opening here on Cristian's serve to close it out early, possibly.
Frustration in those swings, weren't there?
I think so. That was a forehand of wrath.
Yes. Then a cut loose here, it seems.
Thank you.
Well, if she wants to turn this match around in the third set, if there is one, or even in this set, she needs more of this rage, because she's been playing so tentatively in the second set, and it's been all Eva Lys. She's dictating every single rally up until this last two, when Cristian just seemed to have enough of it. And you can see how much power she possesses, 180 k's an hour on the serve, but she's just having the handbrake on all through this match.
It's also one of these matches where you look at the two players, there's not really a big shot on the court, is there? I mean, obviously there's a little more firepower, but there's not a game-changing shot on the court, is there? And I mean that with respect, because obviously they're great players, but and yes, there have obviously been some winners from both ends, but neither one of them is able to overwhelm the other particularly, are they? Is that a fair assessment, or am I being a bit harsh, Petko?
I mean, no, because I'm thinking the next round, I keep thinking in the back of my mind, Iga Swiatek is waiting, and they will need... I do think that Eva's backhand down the line is a very dangerous shot,
Yep.
but you just saw it in a previous point. When Cristian puts a bit more on it, the backhand down the line becomes shaky just because it's a low margin shot.
Yep.
I think Eva's biggest strength is how early she sees the ball and how early she can take it. And I think against a player where there's not as much on stake as it is today, you will see that even more and even better.
Advantage, Cristian.
Nice finish. That had a little bit more attached to it.
Lys, 5 games.
The German served this out though.
Depth there.
15 up.
You can really see the ball sliding through the court there.
the return because she was under a lot of pressure.
13.
Beautiful delivery and so much movement to it. And the die was cast pretty early in this second set. By the early break, it looked as though she had shifted things her way, the German. Set points. Well, if you look back at the history of these two, you will not be surprised that we are heading into a third set. It's a one-set shootout for a play. Fine start, that is.
Incredible point from both women, 21 shots.
15.
Are we in for a treat here with this third set? A bit more pace on her ground strokes. Jaqueline Cristian, maybe she had a good talk with herself in the bathroom mirror.
Yeah, that's actually the longest rally of the match so far, would you believe?
And this is what happens whenever she's hesitant. She drops the ball short. Eva Lys steps inside the baseline, takes it early, and goes down the line. And I would, if I was Cristian and her coaching team, I would rather have her firing and making unforced errors, but not letting Eva Lys play her game, because you will not. This is a certain way to lose this match.
Got to be brave, right? Try and be brave in these situations, if possible.
It's so hard to do because you just feel the tension. You have to try and fight it off. But I do think, seeing how well Eva is seeing the ball, that Cristian needs to take the risk and rather go out firing and give herself the chance to dictate play here, rather than just put the ball in and see them whiz by her.
Thank you.
Do you feel, as Petko said, the first serve numbers were so poor in that set, to try and find that rhythm again? Just 1 of 4 made already here. Couldn't put her away. Had so many opportunities. Had full credit to the German, whose hustle was excellent.
A much better point by Cristian, but Eva Lys showing off her defensive abilities. That's one area of her game that she has improved so much over the course of last year, has gotten so much stronger in her legs, so much quicker. Break point here.
Brilliant start. Such a secure two-hander she owns. And she's able to get a break with it at the start of the third.
And Nick, I don't know how you feel about it, but this was by far the best game both women have played in this entire match. You can really see them locking in, particularly Eva. Had her running shoes on here, hit the ball so cleanly.
Yeah, you mentioned the prize money at stake here today. Obviously, for these two players, it's very, very significant, particularly for the German, who's been on the periphery of the top of the sport for a long time. Third round runner-up, third round loser, should I say, 290,000. But you make the fourth round, you're picking up 420,000. Consider the ranking implications. Obviously, if Eva wins, she's about 90. Probably won't need too many wins in the spring to guarantee the French Open. That's then another huge paycheck, isn't it? So it's not just what this victory will do for her, but it's the knock-on effect, isn't it?
Yeah, just in terms of scheduling, she will be able to play the bigger tournaments. She's good enough to get wins at those bigger tournaments, and it will help her in her rise into the top 50 fairly quickly, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, this time last year, if you look at her ranking in February, was 151 12 months ago. Made some progress towards the second half of the year. Let's not forget this lady lost last round qualies a week ago, over a week ago. No guarantees you're going to be hard. The lucky loser list either is there. It's obviously a, I think it's a, do they take the top 4 Petco and then draw it out of a hat? Yes. I think so. She certainly wasn't the first. Obviously, I think only 3 got in, so you're hanging around, aren't you, for that time? You've got to be on site early each day as a lucky loser. You then got to wait pretty much to last ball in case somebody pulls out, so there's that scenario to factor in too. She has made the most of a second chance.
Has found some nice solidity in her game, and that solidity has gone off the other side. And I think that actually the warmer temperature is making the ball fly on Cristian, so she's trying to hold it in. You can just see it there. Whenever she does pull the trigger on the forehand side, it flies long, so she's trying to hold it, trying to guide it. That's even worse. And she has just lost complete feeling in this last game. Can she find it here in this third set again?
8 of the last 11 games that she has lost here, which is obviously a substantial number.
Nice body language by Eva Lys, also remain positive throughout all the trials and tribulations of this match.
Great return again, that second serve. She's getting lots of looks at just one. It's 4 from 8 so far. First serves made. Jaqueline Cristian is up against it here. And this is a very important game, you sense, for her.
That was a much better shot, and she hasn't been doing that in the last 3-4 games at all anymore, Cristian. That heavy forehand with a bit of topspin was helping her out in the late stages of the first set when Eva Lys started to play better. Was able to throw her off the rhythm with that higher one. Maybe that's a method to keep her in this match.
That's one of the best serves for a while.
14-15.
As we hit the 2-hour mark here. That'll do nicely. 2-1 it is in this final set.
Lys leads 2 games to 1. Time.
nicely done here. And she just seems to be finding her zone more and more. 13 winners off that forehand, and many of those were down the line. Beautiful timing on the rise. Too short by Cristian, and Lys takes full advantage.
Forty-love. Lys, 3 games to 1. Fifteen-up.
What an extraordinary point. And over to you, Andrea Petkovic, to sum that one up.
Oh my God, shut the front door. What just happened? An absolutely incredible point. We had it all. We had the frame, moonball, and a forehand slice, and Cristian just couldn't put the short balls away. Eva Lys really showing off her defensive skills here. Incredible way to stay in this point by Eva Lys.
Yeah, she really has defended well when required of late. Maybe the first serve there. Got one.
Yeah, she's finding her first serve a bit better. She's at a 64% here in this set. Just remember, in the second set, it dropped off to 29 only for Cristian.
Bit of an opportunity missed because she had her opponent scrambling.
14-15.
Yeah, it just feels like in this match, bigger the lead you can get while the other one is struggling, the better it is with all the momentum swings we've had.
Snatched that point from under her, and that's a good sign for the Romanian. Trying to stay calm here in this match where the pressure is firmly on. Down a break though, German up 3-2.
Time.
Well, there is today, I can tell you, there is actually an Andre Agassi lookalike competition at 2 o'clock. So that was an hour ago. So I don't know where this fella came, but maybe he's got a medal in his pocket. I don't know. Well, that was at on the grounds here this afternoon. He obviously knew all about it and came prepared. I'm assuming the lookalike competition was for Andre in the early days and not when he went bald, Petko.
That's how everyone seems to interpret it, at least from what I've seen around the ground. And Eva Lys here scrambling because Cristian has started to play a bit better in this third set, that's for sure. Trying to defend her break lead here. And the biggest difference so far has been that Cristian has refused to make any adjustments on the serve.
Yep.
And she's missing so many returns because she's far away, particularly on that first serve. She's returning as if the serve is coming at 170 k's an hour to her. You see she's again 2 meters behind the baseline, Cristian.
Gaining in confidence. That was quite brilliant.
14-15.
Takes another step towards the last 16 as the lucky loser. What a story.
Leads 4 games to 2.
Torben Belt's on his feet, as is Alex Stober, a physio. Worked with Casper Ruud here this week as well, did Alex.
And I feel like this is a big opportunity for Eva Lys to get another lead because we have new balls in the court. Jaqueline Cristian has been struggling with the balls flying, and now these balls will be even faster. Oh, but she has found her serve, and that will help her.
Still really has pretty much almost exclusively hit that serve today. We talked about it earlier on in the opening set. Hasn't really changed the pattern of that delivery. Struggling to hit the one out wide if she wants to. And even though it was out wide, it was kind of right there for her, wasn't it?
Yeah, it kind of jumps into the strike zone of Lys, and who prefers that backhand side in general. And you could just see that backhand flying long on Cristian. New balls in play. It is getting hotter out. Difficult to control.
Didn't need to go after that. Ended up just getting there a fraction late. Staying in the moment cannot be easy, I would imagine, right now for the German. He'll try and do just that. Break this down 1 point at a time. Double the amount of winners, that's incredible. This was so well controlled, wasn't it? So much left arm. Again, we talked about that, how able to maneuver the board, the left hand, get the width because of it.
Such a difficult shot to pull off. Reminds me of Jelena Jankovic. That backhand inside out from the center of the court. Gets it there. Eva Lys. Cristian in another tough situation on her serve, but she is a fierce competitor, is Cristian. Has been in difficult situations before. In her first round, Petra Martic was serving for the match at 6-5 in the third set. Cristian got out of it, won in the tiebreak. Was down 6-2 in that tiebreak. So she's not one to back down just that easily.
Advantage, Cristian.
last one too. And she's still in the rear view mirror here is Jaqueline Cristian. This lady, though, a couple of holds away from the last 16. It's not been a classic, and I don't think we expected it to be, and I mean that with respect, but it's just been one of those matches where it's about getting a W, isn't it? At the end of the day, doesn't matter how you do it. For both players, this is a match that have great importance for obvious reasons.
Oh. Yeah, she's been playing well on her service games for the past, almost 2 sets now. Placing the first serve well and then taking advantage right away. And as long as Cristian doesn't make a return position adjustment, she will continue to do so.
He lost 2 points on serve in this set. That's how good it's been. Given nothing away, really. You look at the unforced error count, that was pretty high earlier on for Eva Lys, but in this set she's only made 9 unforced. It's been frugal from the German. And on cue, we get a look at it. Good trend for the German in that department. He's made a lot of first serves as well in this set particularly, so it's a double whammy.
Better struck here by Cristian. Yeah, it just shows her intelligence with how she serves. She knows she doesn't have the most powerful serve, but she places it well and then does well with the next shot. There again, nice slice on it. And she's inching ever so closer to the finish line.
If you weren't with us earlier on, a reminder, there's never been a lucky loser in the 4th round on the women's side since we moved here to Melbourne Park. Could be about to change in the next 5 minutes or so. Find a way to breach the defences, can she? That just looks a bit desperate. I think what's even more remarkable is the fact that if this does end here, they would have played 4 matches where the scoreline has been identical. Jaqueline Cristian's won the opening set in all 4 and has not been able to find a way to win. It's remarkable, if that's the case. Breathtaking, great balance, and even better execution. How good was this? So quick across to it. Two points from victory.
Eva Lys on a roll for this game here, picture perfect, and it brings up 3 match points for the round of last 16.
Please. Thank you. And second match, please.
The lucky loser from Germany continues her extraordinary run here at the Australian Open. What a story. Eva Lys is through to the last 16. Coming from a set down yet again to beat Jaqueline Cristian. She's through 6-3 in the 3rd.
What a match she's played on the way to her box. Her mom, her sister. Here they are. Isabella and the mom.